Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. How's it going? It's Brandon Bashirs. In this episode of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, we are going to talk about 4 Google My Business features that are relatively new that you should be using for your business. This is going to help you get more clients. It's going to help you get more clicks on your Google searches, and it's going to really help you to just drive more engagement from Google to your veterinary practice. So it's going to be really, really valuable. Before we begin, I want to mention a few things. First, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or Google Play. And if you could do me a huge favor, please leave me an honest review. I would really appreciate it. I'd also like to mention that this episode is being sponsored by 2 things. First is my digital marketing planner. If you haven't seen it yet, if you head on over to veterinarymarketingpodcast.com/planner, you can get a link to go buy it there on Amazon. It gets delivered typically in 1 or 2 days, especially if you have Prime. And it is a helpful tool. It's a workbook that lets you plan out, track, and measure the most important marketing things that you have going on in your practice. So far, people have really enjoyed it and a lot of good feedback on it. I would love to know what you think. I also created a digital marketing planning course that helps you to create a content plan, an ad plan, and get everything cohesive so that your content matches the different things that you're doing as far as promotions. So it's a great tool. Check it out. If you have any questions about it, be sure to hit me up in the Veterinary Marketing Nerds group. You can ask questions there, which is also to say that you should be in the Veterinary Marketing Nerds group. If you go to facebook.com/groups/the Veterinary Marketing Nerds, you can request to join there. I'd also like to mention this episode is being sponsored by usedvetequipment.com. What usedvetequipment.com brings the buyers and sellers together. So if you have any equipment in your storage room that you're looking to sell, or you're trying to save money by buying used, you can get everything from cages and kennels, x-rays, ultrasound, surgery and laser equipment, lab equipment from IDEXX or Abaxis, tables, tubs, sinks, and all kinds of other miscellaneous items. So if you're looking to buy or sell, head on over to usedvetequipment.com. It's kind of like the eBay for vets. It works really well, helps to protect both the buyer and the seller, get exactly what they're expecting. Check it out. You can see all kinds of testimonials. And if you go there, be sure to let Brad know that you heard about it from the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the sponsors of the podcast and making it possible. And I would really love to hear what you think about the planner. I worked really hard on it to get it something that not only I think would be helpful for you, but it's actually the tool that I like to use, formatted in a way that I think is really, really helpful. All right, so let's get into today's episode. We're going to be talking about 4 Google My Business features that have been added relatively recently that you should be using. So it's been in about the past year, and I've actually never done a Google My Business episode. If you don't know what Google My Business is, it's basically your business listing that you manage inside of Google. So you can claim it there's a process. If you go to google.com/business, you can sign up for Google My Business. If you haven't claimed your Google My Business page, you should absolutely do that. It's kind of one of those things that's like claiming your Yelp listing. You need to make sure and have it set up so that you can provide proper information. Everything from the hours that you're open to your address and phone numbers and website and things like that. So if you don't have that set up, it's 100% something that you should be doing because it will help to drive traffic into your business, especially for people who are searching for your brand name. And if people are searching for your brand name and you're not there, it's kind of troubling and difficult for them to find you, especially inside of maps and things. So here's the 4 features that we're going to talk about today, though. We're going to talk about the Q&A feature that allows you to chat with people. They ask questions. You can chat with them. It's kind of cool. Another one is descriptions. Another one that we're going to talk about is booking appointments directly. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is Google Posts. And there's so many cool features associated with Google Posts. All right, so let's jump into the Q&A feature. But the Q&A feature lets customers ask questions directly to the business listing, which is kind of cool. You can do anything from about offers to pricing, and there's also like a lot of weird questions that can be submitted too. So it's important that if you have this turned on, you're able to manage it through Google Business. That way you can flag anything that's not legitimate and manage comments as well. So kind of the way to think about this is acting like it's a frequently asked questions section. So people will ask questions, and then other users can submit answers. You can also submit answers as well. So it's important that you're going to manage this, but it helps you to rank with questions, and it also helps for people to do a little bit more research and engage with your map listing specifically. So this shows up when somebody clicks on your Google My Business Center, in the listing within Maps. It then shows up under questions and answers, and people can ask questions and just get responses in general. So it's good to know the questions that people have, and then also get answers from other people too. It's interesting if you see people responding to the questions that other people ask on your business listing. Google is actually prompting people within the Maps app on their phone to go through and review and answer questions, and they actually give badges for people that are answering questions, and they label them as local guides. So if you see somebody giving a review that has that designation of local guide, there's a good chance that they're going to be prompted to respond to questions inside of your listing if they do go there. It seems to me that the Google app is tracking locations and things. So if you ever show up to, and you should have this probably set up if you're comfortable with this, but if you ever show up to a business, it'll ask you to review it. It'll ask you questions. It'll say, is this place open on Saturdays? And it'll get really detailed. It's interesting. So people will ask questions like that, and then you can respond to it. It's interesting, though, that it is a community response and not necessarily you responding. So it's important that you're going to manage these responses, make sure that there's nothing that's incorrect in there. But it does help to build social proof and give people more context for your business. So if somebody reads through that, they're going to be able to see exactly what you're about, what the most frequently asked questions are. Probably a lot of times it's going to be about pricing and appointments and wait times and things. So make sure that you manage those, because that could be potentially volatile. The next thing that is really important, and it's solid that it's there. So Google used to have business descriptions in their business listings. And so marketers were trying to kind of like go through and basically abuse the system to help to rank for things. And so it was disabled, but it's actually back now again, which is great. So you can have up to a 750 character description of what your business is about, who you serve, and it's great because you're able to really define that instead of letting Google define it for you. So a few things that you should really consider, though, when you are setting this up is that, number one, you should not use this as an opportunity to try and keyword stuff. Don't make it look unnatural, and don't put links into the copy. So it's not used in ranking at all, is what Google has said, which is good to know for sure. And so it used to be that it was 200 characters long, and now it is 750. So that's actually quite a bit of room to play with. You're going to want to make this all about the customer and not about yourself. A lot of times businesses will talk about themselves because that's what it's asking you to do, but you need to frame it in terms of what you can do for the pet owner, who you serve, what the main benefits are, what makes you different, what makes you unique. So make sure that it looks natural, that it reads well, and that it's super to the point as far as benefit driven. That's just a huge point that I think is going to really help you to stand out. If you say, like, for example, we are a veterinary practice who's been open for 15 years. We have 25 years of combined experience between our vets. And right, you're making it all about yourself instead of the customer. So, my veterinary hospital helps dog, cat, and other small animal owners take better care of their pets. We offer them services ranging from x-rays and ultrasounds and just tell what services you have that is helpful to them so that they know exactly what you're about. If you're not an emergency practice, make sure that you say we don't handle emergencies, but we help on preventative things, whatever it is that you're doing. You need to say what it is that you're doing, what's different, and frame it in a way that's helpful for the customer to understand exactly what you're about and what's in it for them. Always make it about what's in it for them. All right, this next one is pretty dang cool. It's a booking appointment link. So if you have in your practice management software, or if you have any software that allows you to book appointments directly, which is really, really cool, I totally think that this is worth getting software that allows you to book appointments directly, because just having this feature is becoming expected. If you went online and you wanted to do anything in general, you were trying to find a place, you kind of have to think about what's the experience that you're seeing, what's the experience that you like as a consumer, and just because, it's not our policy in the veterinary practice, that's not a good enough answer. Every small business in general is letting you book appointments online. And so you're going to stand out way above other practices if nobody else is doing it. So it's time to get started booking appointments. I don't have a solution for you yet that I've vetted for appointment booking, but I know that there's tons of solutions out there. I'll probably do an episode on that in the future. But with this, it's pretty cool. You're able to not only do booking appointments directly, and it's actually a link that says appointments, but you're also able to add features that say products and services as well. So if you don't have the appointment URL available, and I think it's only available to people in the US actually, not internationally. So if you're in Australia or Canada, I don't think that it's available right now. But you can also put in this, but unfortunately the products and services tab is only available for specific businesses that they designate as being optional to have. So if the products and services tab is open for you, and it's unfortunately we can't tell you how to get that, it's only going to show up if it's available. So go and check if you have that section that you can edit inside of your Google My Business listing. Then put in the products and services. Basically, I would put as much as they give you inside of your listing, and a lot of it is not in your control. But if you have it, you should absolutely be using it. And even in some cases, businesses that have the appointments tab they're actually pulling in that data automatically, so that if the website has an appointment section, it'll automatically put that in. But don't let it be an automatic thing. Make sure you go in, give people a way to get appointments online. And if you don't have that yet, think about a good way to do that. Now, one thing to consider is that you might want to send people to a landing page that you create if you don't have a way for them to book an appointment directly. So possibly what you'd want to do is just send them to a URL where you get their name, phone number, email, and then once somebody goes and fills out that form, you call them right away. It's really interesting. I saw tons of data recently regarding follow-up speed and how fast, if you follow up within the first 5 minutes of somebody submitting a request, your chances of getting hold of them are 70% greater than if you wait an hour even. So having a system that lets you either text message directly, and Twilio is a great system for that, or if you have a way to get in touch with them and call them right away, that's ideal. So setting up appointments like that. So make sure that you have the appointments section filled out inside of Google My Business. If you don't, then you're going to miss out on click data and traffic. Now, this last feature is something that is really cool. I see actually a lot of VCA hospitals doing this, which is cool and interesting. So if you have VCA hospitals in your area, and you can usually check out kind of what these features look like. But what Google Posts are is it lets you share a product release, a blog post, an upcoming event, announcements, things like that inside of Google. And it just shows up directly below the listing. It really helps you to stand out too, though. So when you search, you'll have the listings, and then you'll have the posts that are by those listings, and it just takes up extra real estate, and it helps you get clicks. The other thing that's really cool is that you can create limited offers with these posts. So if you have dental month offers, for example, this is the perfect place to put those. You create them inside of Google My Business. It's actually very simple to create these, and you just basically have three components to this. You have the picture, which you should make natively inside of Canva. It looks just like a Facebook post, basically, as far as the image sizes. Then you're going to have a 100 to 300 word blurb that shows up inside of the listing. And all you have to do is hit publish. It creates a post, and then it is scheduled and up there. It'll tell you when it's going to expire, and it's pretty amazing in general. It lets you get... So this is a great way to get more engagement and more clicks. What's really cool too, inside of Google My Business, you can see the visitor actions that are being taken. So you can see click-through rates, and you can see traffic that's coming from these listings. So you can actually see if it's going to be beneficial to your business to continue doing these things. A thing that I like to do a lot is to just compare this specifically with the other types of clicks that you have. So people requesting directions, people visiting the website, people calling you, all of these different sections that you add inside of your Google My Business listing, those are measured. And so you can measure the clicks of posts against those, and you'll be able to see just what the difference in actions being taken and what impressions are getting shown, and be able to decide if this is something that you're going to want to do on a regular basis. I think if it works in giving you a lift in general, it's a great way to build out an organic traffic system that lets you get more clients into your practice. I would love to hear what you think, though. Be sure to head on over to the Veterinary Marketing Nerds Facebook group, and if you ever have any questions or comments, need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you do need any help specifically with your Google My Business, head on over to the group and ask questions there. So I hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or Google Play. And if you could do me a huge favor, please leave me an honest review. I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode.